Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm glad to be the first one to do the presentation about Sunny Bank. Okay. Sunny Bank is located at the southwest of Sheffield city centre, and it's just located at the corner of William Street and Ecclesall Road. It also is one of the earliest green spaces near the city centre. My part is the historic, so let's count back to the 200 years ago. And 200 years ago, all of this area are residential area, and all the Sunny Bank area are covered with residential. Okay, the houses including the accommodation and shops. And 200 years ago, and it didn't change the next 150 years until in the 1960s it was damaged by because of the effect of some issue. And the 20 years later, it didn't change. It became a brown field. And in 1980s, it was rebuilt through the Sunny Bank we see now. And it course the 2 years engineering. That's the basic history about the Sunny Bank site. Now, let's talk about the history about the surrounding environment. And the first thing I want to talk about is the blue area, the small spaces. You see, we can follow this arrow. And 200 years ago, and it used to be a series of little shops, including the butchers and the bear hunters and the cycling dealer and something like that. And during the First World War, it was rebuilt to the Star Picture House, the cinema. By the way, the first talkie in 1929. Okay. In 1960s, it was built to the Bingo Hall, and until 1990s, it was rebuilt to the filling station, just as we see now. And from the change of this small site, we can imagine the change of the whole Ecclesall Road. This road is one of the earliest main road of cars in the Sheffield. It has a long history, and it used to be the boundary of the residential area and the industrial area. And in this industrial area, there was a lot of just wait a minute. Okay, a lot of factories.
Half a minute.
Okay. And the famous one is the brewery. Okay, just opposite of the space, and the bad effect of the increasing development of industry, the immigration was increased. So it led to two problems. One is the house increases, and another one is the ownership increase of the ownership of the cars increased. So the layout of the city center was changed in 1960s. The government widened the Ecclesall Road and rebuilt it and damaged the site one, I mean the Sunny Bank area. But by some reasons, it doesn't recover by some other buildings until the 1980s was rebuilt to the Sunny Bank. And finally, we can see the decision is right. There's little green spaces in the city center. So, as the only one green space in the city center, it's still attractive to the citizens nearby. So that's it. Welcome to Weird Social Boy.
Okay, he's learned a lot.
Yes. The history now feeds into the social aspects with the way you've got a mix of buildings which then lends themselves to different types of housing. It's a very diverse area around Sunny Bank, with only 77% of the population being white compared to the rest of South Yorkshire it being 87%. In the area is Britain's second largest Somali population, which has been present from around the 1980s in the Ecclesall Road area. We also have a large student population and a more wealthy population living in modern redevelopment around the Ward's Brewery. So you've got these three different social groups coming together in this one point, and actually they don't really come together, which is where the site fails the area in a way. But the area it's not a deprived area. There is possibly money available to to do something about it. Also, not just the use might not just be the immediate people living around Sunnybank. It's also a popular cycle route, so there's many people passing through it and seeing it. There is a slight problem with crime in the area. Crime is above average for South Yorkshire, especially antisocial behaviour and vehicle crime. We see evidence of the antisocial behaviour with graffiti on the site and evidence of drug use. This gives the site a bit of a undermanaged feel and possibly a threatening feel, which leads me to talk about the sensory elements. The site's quite enclosed. There's loads of tall trees, and which brings you to a very natural feel, but also maybe slightly threatening, as we can't see everything around us. But the natural feel maybe can override this. You feel very, very close to nature, with the smell of damp soil and sound of the wind in the trees and the birdsong. But unfortunately, the sound of the traffic on Eccleshill Road overrides this slightly. These sensory elements are created by the physical environment, which is going to be explained now.
I'm going to introduce the physical part of Sunnybank, and you can see it in this order. I'm going to introduce. Firstly is the climate. We can see from here the rainy hour in Sunnybank is in the whole year, especially in January, the rainy hour per day is 15 hours. And see through this yellow line, we can see the sunny time in Sheffield is averagely no longer than 6 hours a day. In conclusion, the weather in Sheffield is very wet and not too much sunshine. And the climate, microclimate in Sheffield, we can see through this picture. You can see the shady place. Because there's a lot of trees in this Sunnybank, and there won't be so many outside. So the shade area is quite different, and so that leads to the when there's a blaze or some bad weather, there might be the temperature inside and outside might be different, and the ground heat from inside to outside is quite different. And then I'm going to talk about the topography. This picture shows the risk of flooding in this area. On the map, we can see the whole Sunnybank area is on a quite or relevant low place level, and there is a river nearby. So that might be cause flooding risk. And in this one, the site is in this one, this is the flooding warning area on this picture, and this is the contours and of this whole area, and this part is Sunnybank. And then I'm going to talk about the drainage system. Here shows the drainage system on this side, and this is the highest point of Sunnybank, and this is the lowest. So the drainage system is formed naturally, and the main artificial drainage system is near the slope, and the main use, and we also find some holes on the wall, on this wall. So the use of these holes can help to drainage the water if there is overdew. And